I am somewhat of a perfectionist. And you know what? I hate that aspect about myself. It's something that's hampered me a lot. And it's also given me some really great things here and there. But overall, it is something that I struggle with and I find is stopping me more than moving me forward. So, in this journal entry over here, I talk about that and I share my reflections on being a perfectionist. Now, this post is called Letting Go of Perfection, and this was the journal entry that sparked this reflection. I need to break that link that I have to that part of society. It only shackles me. The pressure I have from society's perceived perception of me. Whenever I release something, it is always met with praise and positive feedback. That circumvents my heavy bias towards needing to make things perfect before I share it with the world. Share it much earlier than I want to share it. This will be uncomfortable, but I have to do it so that I can get out of my own perfectionistic tendencies. They only hurt me as a person, and the repercussions of not being perfectionistic pale in comparison to the benefits you can have when you let go of those tendencies. Now, this is something that I've been thinking about a lot, where even though being perfect or trying to make something perfect has allowed me to achieve a lot of different things, whenever I actually let go of those tendencies, I feel like I grow so much more. And that is why perfect is something that I really want to erase from my mind. And this is my reflection over here. Reflection. Perfectionism is something that I've had as a character trait for the longest time. It can act as a superpower to create something polished, but more often than not, it has hindered me. By being a perfectionist, I'm carefully crafting something that is ideal in my mind. It hits all the checkboxes that I want to check off, and these are often too polished for its development stage. For example, because I studied graphic design, everything needs to be visually and spatially up to my standards, which often takes much more time than I should be spending on it, especially during the does it even work phase. And this is something that I find extremely important now that I understand myself a bit more. There are a lot of different phases of a project or of a thing that you're doing. And whenever I think of something that is perfect, I'm always hyper focusing on that final output, that final creation. And throughout the whole process, I actually need to reflect a bit more, get feedback, share, and grow. Because that perfect thing that I'm thinking about that is far, far into the distance is only a representation of my skills in the moment. And by just growing more in the moment, suddenly the thing that I'm imagining as perfect far, far away evolves. It changes, it grows, and it becomes better than what I considered perfect. Now, I want to share one of these projects that I considered perfect in the time, and this is Outer Earth. It's a board game that I self-published and created, and I did it through Kickstarter. It took around 2 years to create, and throughout those 2 years, I did a lot of playtesting, but really, a big chunk of that time was just me working along, designing the files, creating the game system, the mechanics, and bringing it all together. And then I just decided to just go for it. And I was extremely fortunate to have this as a reminder that, you know what, it was perfect at the time. But right now, years later, I look back and I think, oh, I could have done this better. Oh, yeah, maybe I should have improved that. Maybe if I did something a bit differently, it would have been more successful. And this is the thing. Perfect is just a snapshot. It's a snapshot of what you think perfect is in the moment. Right when you learn something new from somewhere else and you have a better idea of how to do something, what you considered perfect in that moment, the moment prior, suddenly changes. There is a new perfect. There is a new way of doing it as good as can be. And that is the dilemma with perfect. There is no real final perfect thing that you can create because it constantly evolves and changes. There is just no perfect, which is why I'm trying to remove it from my mind. And just thinking more about this, without getting feedback on what I'm creating, I set myself up for disappointment when others provide constructive criticism. It is easy to feel personally attacked when a project you've spent months on gets criticized. If I release something in an early prototype stage, it will not get, or okay, let me redo that. I'm not gonna change the whole video here, but I'm just gonna read that again. If I release something in an earlier prototype stage, I will not be as married to the thing I've created, and it will allow me to actually incorporate the feedback if I think it is a better option. I've also realized that most of the time, people are usually quite nice with their feedback, which constantly goes against my perceived notion of how negative it might be if I show what I have created at an earlier stage. And that is something that I think about a lot because I've shared many things in a extremely early prototype stage, and I've gotten great feedback that has changed the trajectory of the thing that I'm creating. So many times whenever I am sharing things, in my mind I'm thinking, oh, this is not good enough. This is not my standards. This is not something that I'm willing to share right now. But I need to get out of my own head. I need to start sharing, and I need to start getting feedback and opinions and grow and learn as I am creating something. And something that I'm thinking of a lot of the times is, for example, editing video. I did a mini blooper, boo-boo in this recording over here. But you know what? I'm just going to let it be in there because that's just how it is. Life is kind of rough around the edges, and editing something to perfection for YouTube is one way to approach things, but I want to be a bit more raw and free form. And I feel like this is the way that I can be myself on the internet without being swept up in this like world of perfect that I have considered and strived towards for such a long time now. I need to let that go, and I need to just be myself. Now, it is also impossible to achieve perfection. Instead, what I achieve is a state where I'm satisfied and willing to share something with the world. By reframing it this way, it feels much better to release things knowing they are not final versions and that everything is constantly being improved. What I consider perfect in one moment will surely change as I grow as a creator. Instead of perfection, whatever I create becomes a snapshot of my skills at that moment. TLDR, perfectionism feels safe, but sharing earlier opens the door for feedback and growth. And going back to this whole aspect of growing as a creator, as a maker, as a doer, that is really the thing that I always want to do. I want to make sure that I don't stagnate. I want to make sure that I don't just go and stay in my lane and do my thing for hours on end. I want to grow. I want to learn. I want to figure things out. And I want to struggle. I want to struggle because whenever I achieve and get over that hurdle, I feel extremely satisfied. And the thing with being a perfectionist, I am actually just struggling against myself. It is only me with my mind churning these thoughts, trying to create it as good as possible in my mind. It needs to be perfect, but clearly it's not. It's just something that I have built up and that I think is perfect in the moment, but really it's just a snapshot of my skills at that moment and what I can create. So if you have some perfectionistic tendencies like me, and you have some cool solutions as to how to counteract that, well, post in the comment section down below. My name is Paul, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.